Welcome to our annual benefit virtual edition. Typically, we'd be meeting in this room, gathered around elaborately decorated tables with an abundance of food and entertainment, celebrating the amazing things that God has done at Helping Hands in the past year. Instead, tonight, you are gathering in homes, churches, organizations, and even businesses. And we thank God for you. Thank you for taking the time to attend this year's event. Although different, we look forward to an evening similar to the one we would have had held here. If you participated in our Benefit in a Box or paid attention to this year's theme, you will quickly pick up on a heart theme. Not only do I love hearts, but I love the Bible verse that it reminds me of. I think it fits perfectly with the type of year that we are having. John 16:33, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. I don't know about you, but that brings me great comfort. And as we charge ahead into unknown territory, not only personally, but with Helping Hands as well, the depths of stories that are shared with us never ceases to shock or sadden me. And the way the world is going today, that only continues to be the same. However, we are resting in the hope that John 16:33 brings. One of the best parts about doing a virtual event is the ability to highlight many more people and aspects of Helping Hands. I thank God for the staff and the volunteers that He has brought to Helping Hands. Not only do we serve together, but we laugh and have fun. We do life with each other and those we serve. Relationships are the center of all that we do. Take a look.
We view pregnancy, family, and community as a whole. We work with that unreached people group in our community, and we start by building a relationship with them. And that's really the one thing that those families want. We walk alongside them throughout the struggles that they face in life, whether that's an unplanned pregnancy, generational poverty, the cycles that they are constantly stuck in. We hope to intervene. We know that pregnancy doesn't just happen to the woman, it happens to the man, the family as a whole. We walk alongside these women and engage them in the services we offer here because it helps intervene in those cycles that they are constantly stuck in, whether that's generational poverty, situational prostitution, or fatherlessness. These are where our clients come from, and we meet them where they're at and build life with them and walk through the hardships of their struggles with them. The way we serve clients is by starting off and building a relationship with them. You have no idea how many men and women I encounter on a daily basis that are going with every single basic need of theirs unmet. It may be the woman that stood in front of you at the gas station, pregnant, buying a pack of cigarettes. It might be the family at Walmart in their PJs at 3 o'clock in the morning, using their food stamp card to buy milk and bread with a screaming toddler in their cart. These are the people that need that love and that support and that relationship the most. They struggle to trust. They are judged so easily. These are the men and women that we are serving day in and day out. And because of us, they get that little bit of bout of hope and that bout of Christ and that light in their lives. A lot of people believe we are based off the scope of pregnancy because we used to be called a pregnancy resource center and that we are a handout and just give women and families what they need. But actually, we engage women and families in our services and build transformational relationships with them to instill life change. A lot of people assume that our biggest need in general would be monetary donations or material assisted donations. We do serve clients by providing them with free material assistance through our earned assisted programs. However, that could be further from the truth. We actually have a huge need right now, and that biggest need is people. We need people like you and like myself to walk alongside these families that are struggling with their unplanned pregnancy and the decisions that bear on them because of that pregnancy. Life is not meant to be done alone, and that's the one thing Christ has desired from all of us is a relationship. So we need people like you, people like me, to build a relationship with these men and women and walk alongside them.
We have, all different kinds of volunteers, and they're not always face-to-face. There are things that they do that, can be more operational as opposed to one-on-one with clients or with the client's children. They might come in and sort donated inventory, supplies and diapers for people, and they might, help us with events or a mass mailing or something like that. They definitely aren't always one-on-one with people, but they're always exposed. They always get to see what we're doing and why. And they like to be a part of that. They like to be a part of that team and that way of life, and they know what we do and they feel like they're making a difference. So either direction, whether they're feeling led to come in the door or whether they're feeling required, it always develops into the same sort of path for that volunteer, in that their eyes get opened and they are exposed to this world inside Helping Hands and what we do in that approach, and they are touched. They start forming relationships with each other and with the people that we serve, and they oftentimes end up hanging around a lot longer than they would have expected.
We walk alongside our clients throughout their pregnancy, helping them make basic life decisions that may seem pretty simple to make for you and I, but really for our clients, they don't have that guidance or that knowledge to do so. We serve them by fostering that relationship from the very moment they walk in our door. And because of that relationship being established with our clients, they trust us, they are willing to listen to what we have to say, and in return, that is where life change is instilled. And that is how we have always successfully been able to serve.
Helping Hands is meeting these clients where they're at and saying, I see you, I see the hurt, I see the pain, or I see the struggle you're going through, and I want to walk with you. I don't think that we work a regular 9-to-5 job. It is very much like we do these groups outside of those regular hours, or we meet with clients and we talk to clients, and this space, this building is not just like a building to these people that walk in here. It is a safe place, it is a home to them, and it's a place that they belong. Bluffton is a small town, we all know that, and I think because of that, it's really easy to think that certain things don't happen here. We don't have people that have been abused, or we don't have children that are being neglected, or people living in poverty, or people that struggle with addiction, when in fact we most definitely do. How are we supposed to expect parents that were raised in homes that they were maybe abused or neglected to know how to love and nurture their own children? And the answer is we can't. So Parenting Progress class is a group-based 16-session class that we offer to parents that are deemed at high risk for child abuse and neglect. So we really work with parents in bettering their nurturing skills or giving them unknown skills that they did not have. And so this class is really for parents that, first of all, they want to better themselves as parents and they want to gain new knowledge and skills. So this class is really for any parents that are maybe in a risk zone for child abuse and neglect. Usually our groups range from about 6 to 12 participants. And so first of all, they're forming relationships with each other. They're able to bounce ideas off of each other, or hey, this is what I've seen in my home, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what my child is struggling with. So first of all, they're gonna walk away with relationships and relationships that they had not had before. This program's goal is to prevent child abuse and neglect, which is a great goal. But I think Helping Hands' goal is to see these parents become more well-rounded families. So this is a parenting class, but we also provide free childcare. We do a dinner beforehand because we want to see these families develop real connections with each other. So like parents with their children, playing with them, investing into them. It's been such a cool thing, even in the 4 weeks that we've already done, to see how the parents have created relationships with each other. They're connecting and they're working through things and just seeing it click with them. So I think at the end of the 16 sessions, I really hope to see them understanding that yes, parenting can be hard, but it's also a really fun thing. And it's an honor to be able to take care of this tiny human that relies on you.
I think what sets us apart is that we don't just provide things for them. We provide relationships. We get to know them, offer all kinds of stuff for them to be able to, for us to be able to nurture that relationship with them. It's all leads toward, the common ground of wanting to share Christ, and anybody who knows Jesus is going to be a stronger person all around.
What does it look like for me to have a relationship with this person that you call Jesus, and how can I learn more about him? Moms are just curious, like, what is that relationship that you talk about and how can I establish it?
We'd love to stay in touch with people for years to come. It's not just about them coming in the door and getting a service. We have medical services and we have community groups that we meet with them. We have one-on-one time with them.
As everybody goes above and beyond every time. We do something for someone and then that person can go forth and do it for somebody else. It's like a building up of somebody so that they can turn around and build up another person. Eventually, if everyone starts doing that, it makes the community stronger. So when the clients come in, they tell us, like at a hospital, a lot of times it's just very quiet and they lay there on the table with no interaction, nobody talks to them. And so when they come in here, we really try to engage with them and find out, how's their pregnancy going? Are they having any difficulties? Do they have support? And then on top of that, it's showing them the ultrasounds and explaining, this is your baby, this is, the feet, the hands, and, what would you like a picture of today? Do you want to, take home a picture of, some like the profile picture, some like the face, some want a nose, some want a hand. So we really try to get, what it is that they want to see of their baby. We learned in classes that if somebody comes in and they're abortion minded, if you can get them to look at an ultrasound, about 80 to 90% of the time, they will change their mind on keeping the baby, because so many people think that early on it's just tissue, and it's not just tissue. At 5 weeks, there's a heartbeat that you can see. The heartbeat comes in before that, but at 5 weeks, you can actually see it. And so if you can have somebody actually see that versus just thinking it's tissue, that changes their mind 80 to 90% of the time. With groups, we want to teach the clients on how they can best be in the environment and work on their own, do things for themselves or as a family unit together.
We want them to know there's options, that what they know to be their only option or what they believe to be their only option, which is basically run up against a wall most of the time, that's not the only option. There's another side to the wall. They just need somebody to be able to pull them over. As we are working with individual clients and we are trying to get to know them, being able to engage with their children adds so much context in that relationship. We're able to see how these kids are behaving and what their basic needs are. That really helps us to be able to know which direction to go, what's necessary, their parenting style, and how the kids interact with their parents. It's a big part of that. We're trying to strengthen not just the mom coming in here, but also the family. Those kids touch us. God uses those kids. He's not just using us to service them. He is using them to reach us as well, and through those interactions. And they may not even know it, and their parents may not even know it, but He's in the middle of all of it, and it's not just us servicing them.
So Mom Time is really important because it allows other women, and it allows women in the community to come together and just sit with other like-minded moms that have been through the same thing. Some of the life skills that are taught at Mom Time are things like budgeting. We teach them what it's like to have boundaries, maintaining a schedule for their littles, and even what it's like to be a wife or play that wife role. And a lot of times what it looks like to walk alongside Jesus, how our lives aren't perfect. They're allowed to come to our center for just an hour out of their week. Their children are taken care of and provided for, and we just get to sit and love on them and talk to them and teach them about who Jesus is and what it looks like for me, or maybe what it looks like for them to walk alongside them. So a lot of those conversations are happening outside of the center hours. I had a mom reach out to me just this week who said, I haven't been to church since I was 12. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that when I was there, I really enjoyed worship. Can you tell me how I can get involved with that? Or maybe somewhere where I can go. It delights me to see those heart transformations happening. Pride gets in the way of a lot of things, and I think that they feel like if I come, then they'll know who I am, what type of mom that I am, what type of person that I am. And the reality is that it's a no judgment zone. We're not judging them for the type of mom that they are, for the type of mom that we think they should be, or that society holds expectation to. We just are simply loving them and guiding them. If they ask for our help, we're going to offer our help, but we're never going to replace ourselves as their role as a mom.
Frankly, I just had a conversation with a young man, and I really was kind of disappointed in some of the choices he was making. And I flat out said, am I making a difference? Is Helping Hands making a difference in your life? He replied, he doesn't know where he'd be without us. And I have seen it, and I know the community has seen it, and the world has seen what fatherlessness does to families, what it does to children, what it does to the mothers of these children that are coming into our world. That's what Man to Man is all about. Just in its name itself, it is real men, real struggles, and real hope. The materials, the programs, even the activities are done with excellence in mind, and they all are encompassing the support role that I try and play in these men's lives. It gives them options in their lives. It talks about the man in the mirror, so to speak. And are they serious about that man? God's word says you're supposed to examine yourselves, or I love Shakespeare. He says, to thine own self be true. Each man I've given a mirror to put in their pocket. It's been a life changer for some of the guys and also for our leadership. I actually find that the men do not reach out because they have no idea. They have no idea what they can be and what it even looks like. The stigma that we can't help them, that they can't change. You can change, and gives them hope and gives them options to do that. And then we walk beside them. That's that one-on-one relationship. I have seen evidence that they truly believe now in something. They believe in themselves. They have found themselves, many of them, and they want to be the best parents they can be.
What I wish that you could hear in those group settings where a staff member is leading a group of participants is how much encouragement and teaching and Jesus is being shared. I knew this, but being present when the footage was being done just floored me. On a weekly basis, serious life-altering conversations with groups of people that are desperate for community and connection and purpose, and this all happens while their children are being loved and poured into. It's priceless. Next, I'd like to introduce you to a couple, Shay and Robert, and their 3 adorable girls who've been with Helping Hands for several years.
I believe we came to Helping Hands when my daughter was about 10 months old, our middle daughter, Kennedy, and we were at a hard position in our life, and I remember I asked my husband, I asked him to go to a family life group that Helping Hands had, and it was like pulling nails out of his fingers.
I was totally against it. I didn't want to go. I made no secret about it. I'm glad I went. Like, I met like a lot of good people at Helping Hands. I don't get angry as quick about things. I always thought like I was the only one being overwhelmed, and just being able to talk to other people, and they're like, no, I'm going through the same thing, and ways to kind of hear different ways to kind of counteract that. I guess that helped.
Our way was not working, and when we went to Helping Hands, at first I was a little nervous because I was letting strangers into my home, and it was brutal. It wasn't what I wanted, because then people would judge me, I felt. But Brittany Ashman, she set a foundation for me to be accountable. And if I wanted things to change, then I had to start at home. And it was important because I never really had anybody who cared what my home looked like. Even my parents, they came, and it was just normal. Our family was just normal. But what was going on in our home was not normal. I went to Mom, and he went to Man. Then we took a parenting class, put in the foundation of what we wanted for our children and how we could set bedtimes. And after we got done with mom time, it was time for bed. During that mom time, there was childcare provided, so it was just a break for me.
Before, I wouldn't even have thought to ask. I don't like people in my business, so I wouldn't have thought to ask like for help in any aspect of my life, really. And like I've become more of an open person coming to Helping Hands. Do I don't necessarily feel like I use every single like thing that was taught in the class, but I mean I guess it helps me look at raising my kids a different way than like I was raised.
Some of the other resources I used was when I was pregnant with my third daughter. They have free ultrasound. I went a lot, so I was able to get a lot of ultrasounds.
Get points for diapers and pull-ups, and we go through those like running water.
And that was kind of hard for me because I work, and I was like, I can't provide diapers for my daughter. And I remember the first time I met Brandy, I was in tears because we had took our children to the zoo. No, we took our children to the circus, and we lost a shoe. And I was so heartbroken because I couldn't provide to get another shoe for my daughter. So I was downstairs in the basement looking through their shoes, and Brandy was like, why are you crying? This is what we're here for. And I just let her know like I work and I provide. And my husband at the time was my boyfriend, he worked, and we couldn't make ends meet. And I was really embarrassed about it. And she just made me feel like this is why she's here, is to help people like us.
I just think they just kind of get it, like as far as like not just like being a parent, but just like being a person.
What I love about Shay and Robert's story is the longevity in which they've been a part of Helping Hands. Helping Hands has no time limit on services because you can't put a time limit on relationships. Their family has allowed us to be a part of their lives and to do life with them through many seasons. And we will continue that relationship as long as they desire. The faithfulness of our financial partners over the last 8 years has allowed Helping Hands to provide this type of excellent care to families like Shay and Robert. To conclude tonight's program, I'd like to share a story with you. Although I have complete permission to share this story, it is not an easy one to do. I want you to think about a 9-year-old little girl in your life. Maybe it's your daughter or your neighbor or your granddaughter, or maybe even your niece. Struggling to come up with one? Here is a picture of my 9-year-old niece, Grace. Cute, right? Innocent and independent all at the same time, full of life with a side of sweetness and sass. You get the picture. Her favorite things are making crafts, her 2 pets, and talking to her friends on the playground where she lives. She loves Jesus and is concerned for those who don't know him. The once little girl in my story, Lindsay, hasn't lived the same life as my niece. No, her life has been far different. To start, Lindsay wasn't supposed to be born. Her father beat her mother on several occasions in attempts to get her mother to miscarry. It didn't work. Lindsay was supposed to be a boy, so when she came out a girl, it took a week to name her. Lindsay's first 9 years of her life were filled with watching her enraged father beat her mother senseless and her mother prostitute herself out for drug money behind her father's back. She was left alone most of the time to clean and cook and take care of her baby brother. She laughs in our interview and says that she could cook cereal and could almost get mac and cheese right. The final straw that ended that relationship was her father, who took a pistol to her mother's head and cracked it so severely that she had major complications. At age 9, Lindsay was left with the decision for which parent to choose from. Having seen the way that her father beat her mother, she chose her mother. So her and her mother and her father, and what she calls her stepdad, moved into a trailer. Here, at age 9, while her mother was at a bar, Lindsay was raped by one of her mother's friends. She recounts the details of the interview. The details far too personal for me to share, but the absolute horror that crosses her face while telling me rips my heart out. She would carry that secret for 9 more years before telling anyone. Not long after, Lindsay's mother follows the stepdad to another state, dropping them in the middle of a completely new location with absolutely no money or resources. The 3 of them spend time in a homeless shelter until the mother gets them kicked out. After that, they live under a bridge for 2 weeks. Lindsay recounts that she did not remember eating very much food during that time. The stepdad finally finds day-to-day work, allowing them to stay in a motel on a consistent basis. But it's not enough to feed her mother's drug addiction. She begins selling Lindsay, age 11, to men for money because they will pay more for children. 54 times. In a span of a few short months, before they are able to move again, at the age of 11, Lindsay was raped 54 times by grown men for money in the United States of America. I stopped her in this part of the interview, outraged, questioning why didn't she tell someone, alert someone, like something? And her response, I had no one. They moved yet again, and Lindsay goes on to tell me that after that, she started hiding behind goth clothes, seeking the attention of boys at school, and anything to be away from her mother and her alcoholic stepdad. At 13 and in middle school, her stepdad found out she didn't complete a school project, and as a punishment, she was locked in a closet for 2 weeks with very little food. She happened to be let out and was offered food by a different family member. When her stepfather found out, he kicked her in the stomach with a steel-toe boot for admitting she was hungry. As a result, the Department of Child Services became involved, and Lindsay was taken to her father's to live with him and her younger brother. Lindsay would spend the next 3 years living what her mother lived. She recounts that she thinks she has broken every bone in her body except her back. She would be beaten for not doing the dishes right, for accidentally scratching her dad's truck, and for being bullheaded or stubborn, you name it, and she would be covered in welts from head to toe. And if her dad was really mad, he'd let the brother join in. Oh, the Department of Child Services was called several times, but they never removed Lindsay, and the beatings would only get worse. At 16, that ended, when Lindsay's marks were found out by a guidance counselor, and she told them, I'm not going back there, no matter what. Lindsay was placed in foster care, and she became a severe cutter. She had marks up and down her arms and her legs, and the foster parents couldn't handle her, so she was institutionalized. The next 10 years would be filled with self-proclaiming atheism, addiction, pregnancies, a forced abortion, miscarriages, an overdose, numerous tattoos covering the scars, countless condemned housing situations, self-harming, and several relationships. And fortunately, one of those pregnancies brought her to Helping Hands. I don't tell you this story to create sensationalism, but movement. Do you know what the only thing Lindsay wants? A friend. A friend, a person she can call and take a walk with. She endures all of those horrific things, and the only thing she wants is a friend. The request seems ludicrous in light of what she's endured. Who is going to stand in the gap for women and men like Lindsay? Think about your life. Now take a snapshot. Is this what you want it to be in the next year, 10 years, 20 years? The average life expectancy in the US is 78 years old. What will you do with the remaining years? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are enough. You are enough to serve, to give, to love someone that isn't like you. You are enough to be a friend to someone like Lindsay. I know, you could give me 100 what ifs. But remember John 16:33? But take heart, I have overcome the world. Take heart, Jesus has overcome, and you fill in the blank. Your fear, your worry, your inadequacies, your insecurities, and even your schedule. Is Jesus worth it? If so, then I urge you to do something. Through this virtual event, we would like to raise $50,000 because unfortunately, Lindsay's story isn't an isolated situation. We serve others with similar stories and know that there are countless others in our community who we've not reached. On average, the operational cost to serve someone like Lindsay and her family is $1,200 for an entire year. Our need is far greater, but it's a place to start. At the end of our interview, I asked Lindsay, why should people support Helping Hands? And this is what she said, and I quote, There are people like me that need somewhere to go. You are a group of people that they can finally trust when they haven't been able to trust anyone before. You do so much more than helping people with items. You help people and you care about them when no one else has, and there's nothing in it for you. Helping Hands is making a difference in lives that have nothing or have never had anything to begin with. And Lindsay ends with this: when the world is so dark, you are the light. What she doesn't recognize yet is that light is Jesus Christ, and He hasn't given up on her yet. And that's why Helping Hands is not just another organization, but a community of people who want to love like Jesus does. A community of people that serve adults that have not been reached in time as children and who are now expected to function as adults and have no idea how to handle that. A community of people serving an unreached people group right where we live. Friends, if I have learned anything in this last year is we don't have time to waste. Your partnership tonight will literally be an eternal life and death decision for someone like Lindsay. Will you join the Helping Hands community?